सभी को मेरा नमस्कार। विश्वादित्य की ओर से आयोजित में आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत करते हैं। क्षमा करिए, थोड़ा सा कुछ इंटरनेट में कुछ व्यवधान आ गया, इस वजह से दिक्कत हो गई। धर्मवीर सिंह, आपका माइक है, म्यूट कर दीजिए उसको। जी धन्यवाद। डॉक्टर हर्षिता, आप वहीं हैं? हेलो डॉक्टर हर्षिता।
हाँ हाँ, यस मैम। मेरा ये शेयर नहीं कर रही हूँ, मतलब
हाँ,
देयर इज
शेयर नहीं
डिफिकल्टी
कर
इन
रहे हैं,
शेयरिंग
कुछ
द
पता
स्क्रीन।
नहीं इंटरनेट में कुछ हुआ, स्पार्किंग हुआ एक्चुअली इधर साइड में, इस वजह से।
ओके, कैन
हाँ
आई वंस अगेन रीशेयर माय स्क्रीन मैम?
हाँ, आप शेयर कर लीजिए जी, तब तक मैं
ये
आपका
ऑप्शन नहीं दिखा रहा है मैम।
अच्छा, ऑप्शन नहीं दिखा, एक मिनट मैं करती हूँ, एक पता नहीं कैसे कुछ है ना, स्पार्किंग हुई हमारी साइड में। जी आप कर पाएंगे अब, है ना?
हाँ जी मैम।
हाँ जी। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का और आज के स्पीकर डॉक्टर हर्षिता जी का मैं तहे दिल से स्वागत करती हूँ। और जैसे हम शुरुआत में अपने स्पीकर का एक बार इंट्रोडक्शन मैं परिचय करवाती हूँ, ऐसे ही मैं आज आपका परिचय करवाना चाहूँगी। अभी करेंटली डॉक्टर हर्षिता असिस्टेंट प्रोफेसर एंड कंसल्टेंट फिजिशियन डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ द पीजी एंड पीएचडी स्टडीज इन द काय चिकित्सा श्री काल भैरवेश्वर आयुर्वेदिक मेडिकल कॉलेज हॉस्पिटल रिसर्च सेंटर बेंगलुरु में अभी वर्तमान समय में आप काम कर रहे हैं। और यू आर ऑल्सो परस्यूइंग पीएचडी फ्रॉम द मैसूरू डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ द काय चिकित्सा गवर्नमेंट आयुर्वेदिक मेडिकल कॉलेज से अभी आप परस्यू कर रहे हैं। और आज का आपका टॉपिक है ए न्यू माइंड बॉडी अप्रोच फॉर द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ द फाइब्रोमाइल्जिया बाय द आयुर्वेदिक प्रिंसिपल्स बाय द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ आयुर्वेदा, एक केस स्टडी। इसके ऊपर अभी आप आज हमारा सभी का मार्गदर्शन करेंगे। और इसमें जो मुझे सबसे बढ़िया बात लगी थी, मुझे लगता है सारे स्टूडेंट्स को भी, पार्टिसिपेंट्स को भी अच्छी लगेगी, कि डॉक्टर साहब का प्रत्येक जगह पे जहां भी कैरियर रहा, बहुत ही बढ़िया कैरियर रहा। और मुझे लगता है कि वो कहीं ना कहीं बहुत ही सबके लिए प्रेरणादायी बात है कि सेकंड रैंक आपने ऑल इंडिया पीजी में लिया, फिर उसके बाद 68 रैंक पर आपने हेलो हेलो बेटा पता नहीं क्या हुआ है ना, ये इसको लगाने के बाद हुआ, इसको मैंने तुरंत ही वहां से है ना हटा दिया। फिर अच्छा, ये यूपीएस अभी चल नहीं रहा। अच्छा अच्छा अच्छा, ये चल नहीं रहा बेटा मेरा, ये ना नहीं नहीं, मैं इस पे करवा रही थी ना ऐसे वाईफाई, ओ सॉरी, हॉटस्पॉट्स पे। कैसे होगा ये? हॉटस्पॉट कर दिया ना मैंने। अच्छा सॉरी, मोबाइल डेटा ही नहीं किया मैंने। हम्म। अच्छा बेटा ठीक है। हेलो हेलो बेटा एक बार देखना.
Start the discussion of fibromyalgia, a case which was treated with the treatment principles of Ayurveda. So now coming to the prevalence of fibromyalgia, the prevalence in India is around 0.5 to 2%. And every year, according to the census of the government of India, around 1 million of the population suffer from fibromyalgia. And recently, as we have gone through the pandemic COVID-19, there were many research studies which showed that there was increase or in the cases of fibromyalgia also जो भी पहले से डायग्नोज थे फाइब्रोमाइल्जिया उनका कोविड-19 में जो कोविड-19 के इन्फेक्शन से उनका जो भी दर्द था वो बढ़ गया था. एंड थर्ड मोर इम्पोर्टेंट फाइंडिंग बिफोर वी स्टार्ट टुडेस केसेस, जो फाइब्रोमाइल्जिया है अभी रिसेंट रिसर्च के अनुसार it is more prevalent in the working women. It is said that the job stress what they face along with the domestic work and along with the job work, the job stress what they face, it is been recognized as one of the important causes in the fibromyalgia of women. So these are the three main recent research findings which I have told you. So let us start the case of fibromyalgia. So there are slide numbers here which is given in the bottom right side. जो भी आपको doubt आएगा आप वो slide number लिख सकते हो and बाद में we can discuss about the same thing. So the pattern of today's discussion will be I will present the case. And then in the middle, I'll also teach you about the theory of fibromyalgia. What is fibromyalgia? What is the pathology of fibromyalgia? And why it is so complex in treatment? Because I've taken the approach of mind and body. Okay. And later we will also discuss what was the treatment which I have given. Am I audible to all? Shall we start? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So now in the OPD, so there was a patient of 35 years old, a female patient of an upper middle class and a well-educated background. She was working as a lecturer with MTech background. She was married and she had visited to the OPD of Sri Kalabari Vishwanath Medical College and Hospital on 21st of Feb 2023. So now what were the main complaints which she came with? There was pain all over the body since 2 years. There was burning sensation in the knees, low back and upper back all since 2 years. There was disturbed sleep pattern, difficulty in initiating sleep. Maybe she will go to bed at 10 o'clock and she will get sleep around 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock. And even if she gets sleep, there is disturbed pattern of the sleep. And along with that, there was a specific term which was used. There was pinching sensation all over the body. जो भी हम देखते हैं कि वातज जो भी वेदना होता है उसके लिए बहुत सारे टर्मिनोलॉजीज दिया गया है. सो उसमें the lady, she has picked up that she was having specifically pinching sensation all over the body. And the last symptom that was there was so much stiffness of the neck. She was not able to rotate the neck. She was not able to look up or look back or turn sidewards or make any neck movements. So these were all the main complaints which she visited the OPD. And along with that, the associated complaints were also, which were associated with the dyspepsia. She was having pain abdomen, heaviness of the abdomen immediately after having meals, and sore belching. So which used to happen occasionally, like once or twice in a week, if she opts to have meals outside her home or any heavy meals whenever she has. So now coming to the history of present illness. So I want you to note down some of the points which I'll tell you. Okay, so first, she was a known case of hypertension, and which I told you the previously with all the main complaints she had presented. The initial thing which was started was the headache. So patient initially before 4 years back, she had developed severe headache, which was associated like a shock-like pain and severe fatigue, so much of weakness, not able to work along with headache. And in 2021, she met a general physician and she was diagnosed with hypertension. And the medicine for hypertension was started in the same year. And later in the September, she had suffered from viral fever. So why viral fever? I'm giving you the history. Why is it important in the pathology of fibromyalgia? I'll be explaining in the further slides, but just remember that this is a very important event in the timeline of development of fibromyalgia. So she had developed viral fever, and in the viral fever, the symptoms were obviously cold, cough, there was raised body temperature. Along with that, there was so much of tiredness. And also the musculoskeletal symptoms, like there was pain in the ankles, pain in both the shoulders. And once the fever subsided, even the pain also gradually got subsided. In 2021 November, the patient unfortunately had a miscarriage. So she was diagnosed with hypertension, and even though she was regular with the medications of hypertension, there was a history of miscarriage in November 2021. And after 8 to 10 days after regular care, the bleeding had stopped. And since then, even though the bleeding had stopped, the pinching sensation, it was the first time where it started, along with the pain all over the body, along with the weakness, along with the pain in the knee joints and pain in the arms, in the hands, both forearm and left arm. The pain all over the body, along with severe weakness, started after 8 to 10 days after she had miscarriage. And she gradually noticed that along with the pain in the musculoskeletal system, like your joints and muscles, she also started the changes in her mood. She used to get stressed very easily. She used to get irritated very easily. She had trouble in doing her household chores, in her teaching career. So she had she started to notice the changes in her behavior also. And also her family members started to tell that there are some changes in your behavior. You used to be very calm. Now you have started to get irritated very easily. So with all these complaints, so now there are pains, and along with that there is changes. So now she had met a family doctor in the same year in 2029, who had advised her to get the CBC done, your normal blood picture, and everything was quite normal. And since the blood picture was normal and the pain was still there, she had visited a rheumatology clinic, a rheumatology hospital, which is Chandray Rheumatology and Immunology Center. And there she was told to get done CRP, RF factor, and ANA. These were the investigations which were asked to do. And that CRP and RF factor were normal. There were no any changes in that, but the ANA antibody, it was positive. So, and for that, she was given the tablet hydrochloroquine 200 mg BD. It was started for her. And after 3 months, again, after follow-up, she went to meet the same doctor, and the ANA was negative, and the dose was reduced. Hydrochloroquine from BD, it was reduced to OD. And similarly, meanwhile, her gastric issues also started, like all the dyspepsia issues also, they were increasing. So which was like once or twice in a week. Now it was increased to like 3 times, 4 times. And for this, she also had to visit another gastro physician, and endoscopy was done, and everything was found to be normal. So now after taking HCQs and developing the dyspepsia issues, and since ANA also came to the normal levels, her hydrochloroquine tablet was completely stopped. And since there were no changes in the investigations, she was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and she was prescribed again with hydrochloroquine since 1.5 years, past 1.5 years. So when the patient had visited the OPD, she was on hydrochloroquine. She was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, and even though taking 2 tablets of hydrochloroquine of 200 mg, there was no relief in pain. And along with that, her dyspepsia symptoms like bloating, heaviness of the abdomen, and indigestion issues, they were still persisting. So the main complaints, what I told before, with those complaints and the tablets of hydrochloroquine and one more psychiatric medicine she was on, with this particular history, the patient had visited the OPD. So history of past illness, so hypertension, she was diagnosed in 2021, and she had a miscarriage in November 2021. So now this is the Chikitsa Vrittanta. So TAP Telma 40 mg, it was given for hypertension, 1 OD, and hydrochloroquine, she was taking 1 BD for 9 months, and later she was taking 1 for 3 months. And once we started the Ayurveda intervention, so the last which I've written within the square brackets, this is after the starting of intervention, she was taken out of the hydrochloroquine. So presently the patient is not on any hydrochloroquine. She is able to manage the pain with Ayurveda intervention. So what was this Ayurveda intervention? I'll be discussing in the later slides. So she was also taking tablet Protheodin 50 mg. So this is a tablet which is is given to address the psychiatric complaints. It can be your disturbed sleep, your anxiety, or you're feeling depressed or low in mood. For all of these complaints, this is a psychiatric medicine which the patient was taking. She was taking one tablet 50 mg 6 months and 25 mg since 15 months. And once we started the Ayurveda intervention, this medication was also stopped. So now she is presently not on hydrochloroquine and she is not on prothioidin. She is free from both of these medicines. And pregabalin, which is a multivitamin, as you all know, which is vitamin B12, she is still continuing. This is the Chikitsa Vrittanta. So Vaiktika Vrittanta, she is a vegetarian. The sleep was disturbed, bowel was irregular bowel movements, and most of the times it was constipated, and appetite and maturation, they were normal. So Kautumbika Vrittanta, here you can see both the parents had hypertension and there were no any other health issues. So this is the menstrual history. Menarche was 15, she attained menarche when she was 15 years. The duration of cycle is 5 days. Interval of the cycle is 35 to 40 days. Normal bleeding, no pain, no foul smell. And this is the obstetric history. So this is the general examination. So the decubitus sitting position, she was a well-built woman, moderately nourished. All of the examination findings, pallor, icterus, clubbic, cyanosis, lymphadenopathy, it was absent. And when she first visited the OPD, even though she was taking Telma 40 mg, one tablet per day, her BP was, you can see it was 160 by 110 mmHg. Okay. So Jataha Sadharana, Samvriddataha Sadharana, Vyatitaha Sadharana. This is the Atura Bhumi Desha Pariksha. So in the Ashtasthana Pariksha, Nadi was 80 beats per minute. Mutra Mala regular. Jibha was Lipta, showing us the presence of Ama. Shabda was normal. Sparsha was Ishat Ushna. Drik normal. Akriti was Madhyama Akriti. So Dashavida Pariksha, she majorly, when we assessed, all the Vata Prakriti Lakshanas were present in her. Mainly Vata, Kaphaja, Prakriti were present. So Vikriti, so the Hetu, we'll again come back to this, but just listen to it once. So Aharaja, she used to consume more of Ruksha Ahara, Alpa, Shita, Laghu, Anna. And as she was a lecturer, she used to not find time to eat food on a regular interval of time. And more intake of spicy foods. It can be like junk food, chips, fries, which is easy to carry. Like when you're a working woman and you have a lot of work to do and balance both the sides, this easy to handle foods come handy to you. It can be a packet of chips you ate and then you carry on your daily jobs, such things. And in Viharaja, Ati Vyayama was present, that is excessive walking, excessive swimming was present, and also Divaswapna was present, and Ati Ratri Jagarana also was present, and Vega Dharana, due to the lectures, continuous lectures, standing for long duration of time, and also Vega Dharana was present. With this is the history what she gave. And in the Manasika Bhavas, Chinta, Shoka, Krodha, Bhaya, all of these were initially present. So, Manasika doshas, Rajas and Tamas, as we clearly get to know, Sharirika, it is Vata. Dusha, it is Mamsa Dhatu. So, all of this I have told you previously. So, now coming to the systemic examination. So, respiratory system. So most of the things were normal in the respiratory system: inspection, palpation, percussion, auscultation. We didn't find any abnormal finding. There was normal vascular breath sounds. The resonant, it was dull except for cardiac dullness and hepatic dullness. In cardiovascular system also, we could hear S1, S2. There were no any added sounds. So in the gastrointestinal, the shape of the abdomen was distended because she was a very well-built woman. Apart from that, there were no any signs of organomegaly, or we couldn't hear any, see or feel any abnormal palpations. So in the musculoskeletal system, which is very much important in this case, the gait was normal. So coming to the shoulder joint examination, there was no any deformity, swelling or tenderness, but in the range of motion, it can be the flexion or extension, abduction, circumduction, all of these movements, there was a lot of pain. She could do flexion, but again with a lot of pain. She could do extension, again with a lot of pain. So coming to the knee joint examination, here also there was no any visible deformity or swelling or redness, but there was difficulty in the range of motion. Again, to flex the leg, to extend the leg. The same applies to the ankle joint also. So range of movement, you can see in all the joints. It can be your knee joint, ankle joint, shoulder joint. They were all very severely affected. So what happens if your shoulder is involved, or if your knee is involved and your ankle is involved? Obviously, there is difficulty in doing your day-to-day activities. You cannot stand properly, you cannot walk properly, you cannot comb your own hair, you cannot cut vegetables, you cannot cook, right? So these are all the day-to-day activities which we do. So if there is so much of pain, even in the slightest flexion, slightest extension, then it calls for a medical attention. So now coming to the Roga Pariksha. So Aharaja, so Nidana. So in the Roga Pariksha, first we will see the Nidana. What were the Nidanas which was present in this particular patient? So patient did not eat food on time. The food definitely was not freshly prepared. Sometimes she used to carry food in the lunch boxes which was prepared in the previous day, or some instant food which I told you just now. And more of Ruksha Ahara. So Bangalore is more of like a Sadharana Anupa Pradesha. Okay, so it is quite above the sea level, and it is almost a little bit cold, more cold here, and it is very, we usually tend to feel more sick, or Ati Ruksha Ahara causes more of vyadis here. So more of jawar roti and more of spicy food was our food habit here. And Viharaja, there was Vegadharana, which causes Vata Prakopa. There was excessive walking, Ati Adhva, then standing for too many hours. Okay. And Manasika, the disturbed sleep, the patient was extremely irritable and had severe changing moods. So if you see all of the Nidana, they are pointing us towards the Prakopa or the Dushti of Vata and Pitta doshas. So Pura Rupa, as fibromyalgia, I am thinking approximately towards the Mamsagata Vata. There was no any particular Lakshana. So the Pura Rupa Vata Vyadi is Avyakta Lakshana. So whenever they become Vyakta, it becomes the Rupa. So the Upashaya, whenever the patient used to take rest, whenever she used to lie down for 2-3 minutes, or after taking her classes, if she used to sit for some time, then her pain in the hands and legs used to come down. Anupashaya, usually during her menstrual cycles and excessive physical activity, or if there are many activities at home or many activities at the college, maybe college fest has come, or maybe some examination duties have come, at that time increased stress, and it used to lead to increased pain. So Samprapti Ghataka, so Sharirika, it is Vata Pradhana Pitta Dosha. So Manasika, it is Rajas and Tamas. So Dusha, it is Mamsa. Srotas Rasavaha Mamsavaha Manovaha Srotas. Srotudushti is Vimarga Gamana. Jataragni Mandya is present. Udbhavastana Amashaya and Mana. Why Amashaya? I'll tell you in the later slides, because the Samprapti has started from the Utpatti of Jwara itself. So that's why Amashya has been taken. So Sancharasthana, it is Mamsa and Sarva Sharira. Adhishtana also Mamsa. Yaktasthana Mamsa. Roga Marga Madhyama. Vyadi Swabhava is Chirakari. Sadhya Sadhyata, it is Sadhya. So now approach to the Chikitsa. So this is, as you have seen, the history of past illness, history of the present illness, and her major complaints, and the influence of Manas on the Sharira. So it is quite a complicated case. It is not just we will do Vatahara Chikitsa and the pain will come down. No, if in that case 2 tablets of hydrochlorine would have done the job. But even after taking 2 tablets of hydrochloroquine, she had pain. Right? Even after taking Telmacan, her BP was not controlled. That means somewhere the Samprapti has not been taken, not been broken. So चिकित्सा वही है जो जहाँ पे संप्राप्ति विघटन होता है. संप्राप्ति विघटन के बिना पूर्ण चिकित्सा कभी भी साध्य नहीं है. आप एंटीबायोटिक्स ले सकते हो, जो भी ले सकते हो, वो संप्राप्ति विघटन नहीं होगा तो व्याधि निर्मूलन नहीं होगा. So first we'll discuss what is happening and how to build the Samprapti in this case. I think all of you are aware, each and every case will have its own Samprapti. हर एक केस में हर एक अलग संप्राप्ति हमें बनाना पड़ेगा. हर एक केस डिफरेंट होता है. इट्स नॉट लाइक 2 संदिग्ध वाता केसेस आर सेम. नो, even though the diagnosis is संदिग्ध वाता, the both sampraptis of 2 patients will be completely different. That's why we have so many yogas only for संदिग्ध वाता. If it was only संप्राप्ति, then आचार्य चरका would have given us only 1 yoga. ये संदिग्ध बात है तो आप ये योग लिखो और आपको आराम मिल जाएगा. नहीं, we have so many yogas in Vata Vyadi. Why? Because each and every patient is different. Purusham Viksha is given. So what is Purusham Viksha in Kaya Chikitsa? It is Purusham Sampraptim Viksha. That's what I say. So see the patient, make your own Samprapti, then only you will be able to merge the Chikitsa Sutras and treat the patient well. जब तक आप एक पेशेंट को नहीं समझोगे, आप अपना संप्राप्ति नहीं बनाओगे, आपको चिकित्सा सूत्र पर भी उतना होल्ड नहीं आएगा और आप ट्रीटमेंट भी उतना नहीं अच्छा कर सकते हो. Okay, so now how I thought in this particular cases, all of her complaints started with the viral fever. So she had raised body temperature, and that was the first time where she had body ache throughout. And once the fever came down, her body ache also came down. But meanwhile, she had done the Vata Prakopaka Nidana Sevana. So what are the Nidana Sevana? I have told you in the previous slides. Standing for long duration of time, Ratri Jagarana, Ati Adva, okay, swimming for long duration of time. So all of these are Vata Prakopaka Nidana, and you know that there is a concept of Punaravartaka Jwara. If Jwara Chikitsa has been done, and even after that, if you are following the Nidanas, then again the Jwara will come back. That is Punaravartaka Chikitsa. And the beauty of Ayurveda is the Chikitsa of Nava Jwara, the Chikitsa of Purana Jwara, and Chikitsa of Punaravartaka Jwara, everything is completely different because the Nidanas are different. So similarly here, the Jwara was treated by the medicines, but the Samprapti was not broken. And she had done Vata Prakopaka Nidana Sevana. So there is formation of Ama. So all the Mamsa Dhatu related symptoms were present. So the Kha Vaigunya in the Mamsa Dhatu had already started in the Jwara. So there is formation of the Ama. So in this particular stage, there was also miscarriage. Right, so in the November 2021, she also had a miscarriage. So we know that in the Vata Vyadhi Nidana, the Dosha Kshaya is one of the Nidanas. So you do Vamana, you do Ati Yoga of Vamana, there is Vata Prakopa, right? So similarly, you do Rakta Mokshana, you do the Ati Yoga of Rakta Mokshana, there is Vata Prakopa. Similarly, in all the Kshaya of the Dhatus, there is Vata Prakopa. Similarly, the miscarriage, which again led to the manifestation of Vata Vyadhi. The Sthana Samshaya is Mamsa because already the Kha Vaigunya was started here, or the Mamsa Kha Vaigunya what had already started with the Samprapti of Jwara. So in this particular Samprapti, you can, what I could assess was there was Pradhanata in the Vata Pitta Doshas. So the initial treatment had to start by managing Vata Pitta Doshas by nourishing the Kapha Dosha. There should be Tarpana of the Kapha Dosha which had to be done, and the Vata and Pitta Doshas had to be treated first. So the first addressing of the doshas here was Vata Pitta Doshas and the nourishment of the Kapha Dosha. So now let us come to the theoretical aspect. Okay, so now I have given you the case with what complaints the patient had come to me and how did I think of the Samprapti. But let us understand about fibromyalgia. What is fibromyalgia? Why is it different from any other musculoskeletal syndrome or musculoskeletal disease? You have rheumatoid arthritis, there also you will have joint pain. You have osteoarthritis, there also you have joint pain. Or you have SLE, which is an autoimmune disease, where you have skin related joint pain and much more complex issues. So amongst all this, what is fibromyalgia and why is it important to know what is fibromyalgia? So fibromyalgia, the particular term, it is derived from a Latin word where fibro means fibrous tissues, mya means muscles, algia means pain. So now fibro is a fibrous tissue of the muscles and pain. So pain of the muscles, pain of the fibrous tissues of the muscles is nothing but the fibromyalgia. Again, the Sthana Samshaya of Mamsa Dhatu you can see here. And what is a fibromyalgia? Whether it is an acute condition or a chronic condition, it is a Chirakare Vyadhi, right? So it is a chronic condition. And what are the main three important symptoms? There is widespread musculoskeletal pain. So the term which I have used is here widespread. That means the patient will not have only pain in the right shoulder, not pain in the only right elbow. There will be widespread musculoskeletal system. That means pain in the hands, pain in the legs, pain in the ankles, pain in the neck. Right? Wherever you ask the patient will tell there is pain. And along with that, there will be fatigue. So much of generalized weakness. If there is fatigue, the patient will not be able to do the work. The patient will not be able to stand. The patient will not be able to eat. So fatigue is also one of the important symptoms of fibromyalgia. And along with that, there will be tenderness in the particular area. So it's not tenderness in the joints. For example, if I'm doing the knee joint examination, not particular knee joint, but the muscles which are there around the knee joints. For example, you have soleus, which is a muscle, right? So tenderness over the muscles. Now you have your biceps, you have your triceps. In all those, there will be tenderness. So these are the 3 hallmark symptoms of fibromyalgia. So in 1987, which is recently, it was recognized by American Medical Association as a defined disease entity. Because why this happened? Because so all of the patients used to come with the pain in knee joint and neck. So they used to diagnose as osteoarthritis and they used to treat. But still the patient used to not get relief. That's why this new disease was named as fibromyalgia, because it is not similar to your osteoarthritis or not similar to any your inflammatory or degenerative disease. This is a whole different entity. So earlier it was known as fibroositis, and you know that itis is inflammation, right? But in 1976, the term was replaced by fibromyalgia because there was no any signs of inflammation here. It was just pain. So now coming to the symptoms of fibromyalgia, as I told you, there are 3 main spectrum of symptoms. So let us understand the symptoms one by one. So you can see image here, you can see all the pain points. So these are all the pain points which are marked in the blue. So the usual symptoms are multiple regional pain, that is a widespread musculoskeletal pain, marked fatigability, that is extreme weakness, marked disability. So disability here in terms of not able to walk, not able to sit, not able to sleep. So that is disability. That this doesn't mean that the patient hand is broken or leg is broken. That doesn't, only that doesn't mean disability. If you're not able to do your day-to-day work because of this, that is also a disability. So broken or non-restorative sleep, that means there is disturbed sleep pattern, either to initiate the sleep, or once the sleep comes, to continue the sleep. So low affect, irritability and weakness, poor concentration and forgetfulness. So these are the psychiatric symptoms, the mind related symptoms. So there is low affect and mood, irritability, weakness. The patient suddenly feels to cry without any reasons. There may be difficulty in concentrating and forgetfulness. So variable locomotor symptoms. So there is early morning stiffness, swelling of the hands and fingers, numbness and tingling of the fingers. So just like which you see in RA, right? So here also there is presence of early morning stiffness, there is swelling of the hands and fingers, there is numbness in all those joints. So additional symptoms which may be present or which may not be present is the headache, bifrontal headache. So whenever bifrontal headache, the first thing what we remember is the tension headache, because tension headache also it happens in the bifrontal region. And along with this, the dyspepsia symptoms like colicky abdominal pain, there is bloating, irritable bowel syndrome, and bladder fullness, nocturnal frequency. So just like what we see in prameha, right? So there is increased frequency of urine. So here, without being a normal person also, there is increased frequency of urine, especially at the night. So that is nocturnal frequency, hyperacusis, dyspareunia, discomfort when touched. So these are all the additional symptoms. So this is how the fibromyalgia affects the body. There is brain fog, there is dry eyes and mouth, there is widespread pain, there is fatigue, numbness and tingling, insomnia, digestive symptoms or digestive problems, dizziness and headaches. So now in short, I'll tell you the pathogenesis of fibromyalgia, how it is different from any other disease, what makes fibromyalgia a very important disease. Okay, so first, so I've given you the 6 phenomena. If you remember the 6 phenomena, you'll be able to diagnose and also know the fibromyalgia. So if it is difficult for you to know each and every concept of fibromyalgia, if you know the 6 concepts, it is very easy to remember what happens in fibromyalgia. So the first one is central sensitization. So what is central sensitization? It means that our central nervous system, it becomes very hypersensitive to pain signals. So for example, I'll give you an incident. So you wake up in the morning, right? So you'll be in a very sleepy mood and you hit your leg to the bed. So there will be some amount of pain, but that doesn't stop you from carrying on or moving on throughout your day. right? So hit your leg, then you sit for some time, and then you carry on. Then you go, you take bath, you have your breakfast, and then you go to your work. So, but what happens in the case of fibromyalgia? There is hypersensitization. So even though there is small stimuli, a small stimuli is enough to create a large amount of pain. For example, you are holding the pen. So you are holding the pen, it is not causing you any pain. But in the case of fibromyalgia, that small stimulus is enough to create the pain. Okay, so even though it is a very small stimulus, there is so much of hypersensitivity to the pain. That's why the patient feels more pain. So whenever there is, even though there is small pain, there is amplification of the pain. Okay, so but that doesn't mean that there is any tissue damage. That is a very specific finding of fibromyalgia. There is pain amplification, but there is no any tissue damage. There is no any degeneration process. There is no any tissue damage. The second point is your genetic predisposition, which means that either any of your parents can have fibromyalgia, or in the gene there is a history of a fibromyalgia, anyone in the family, or anyone, if there is any inheritance of this fibromyalgia. The third point is stress and trauma. So here stress doesn't only mean the mental stress, it implies both the physical and emotional stressors. For example, it can be infection. Here in this case there was viral fever, right? So it can be infection, or it can be any injury, or it can be any significant emotional event. So significant emotional event, example in this particular case was the miscarriage. So here we have two stressors. One was infection in the terms of viral fever. Second was an emotional stressor in the case of miscarriage. So now the fourth one is the neurochemical imbalances. So in neurochemical imbalances, obviously there is the role of neurotransmitters. There is involvement of the serotonin, norepinephrine. So the imbalance in these levels, it will cause the severe pain in the fibromyalgia. Then the sleep disturbances. So it is a cycle-like pattern. So sleep disturbances, it causes fibromyalgia, and fibromyalgia causes sleep disturbances. You don't sleep, and then the pain increases, and you're not able to sleep because you have fibromyalgia. So it is a cyclic pattern, and the patient, whoever is diagnosed with fibromyalgia, they'll be having very severe difficulty to initiate and have a very good sleep. So that is one of the important clinical findings. The second one and the last one, the last pathological phenomenon is peripheral and central mechanism. So here peripheral mechanism, it applies to the inflammatory processes, which includes your cytokines or pro-inflammatory markers, and central mechanism is cognitive and emotional disturbances. So these are the 6 main points. So the pathology, I can still go deep, but these are the 6 key points you have to remember when it comes to fibromyalgia. Only when you understand the fibromyalgia, you can go ahead with the treatment. So these are the pathways. So I told you periphery, it is regarding the inflammation. So bradykinin is there, prostaglandin is there, and here you have the neurotransmitters. You have nociceptors, which are the receptors of pain. So this is also a pathway. So whenever there is pain or trauma, there is activation of the peripheral nervous system. There is transmission of the signals, activation of central nervous system in the spinal cord. There is input of the signal. So once there is pain signal, the pain happens, and also there is modulation. So both the inhibiting and facilitating neurons you can see. So when there is imbalance in these neurons, also there can be fibromyalgia. And the third diagram, what you can see is the neurotransmitter imbalance. There is decrease in serotonin, noradrenaline, dopamine neurotransmitters. There is increase in glutamate, substance P neurotransmitters. And also there is an imbalance or a derangement in hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal gland axis. So there is an axis, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal gland axis. So there is a derangement of signals in this particular axis. And also you can see the rise in the inflammatory markers, TNF, interleukin 1 beta, interleukin 6, and interleukin 8. So now we have understood the pathogenesis, right? So these are the main charts which I've explained to you. So now coming to the diagnosis, which is a very important point. So आपने समझ लिया कि पैथोजेनेसिस क्या है, फाइब्रोमायल्जिया का सिम्टम्स क्या है, लेकिन इसका डायग्नोसिस हम कैसे करेंगे? So diagnosis of fibromyalgia is quite easy. So the one important point is all the investigations will be quite normal in diagnosis. For example, the patient comes to you with early morning stiffness. You send the patient for ESR, RA factor, quantitative or qualitative, then CRP, all those investigations. If it is an RA, if it is seropositive or seronegative also, there will be changes in ESR, CRP. Whereas in fibromyalgia, all of those investigations will be almost normal, but still the patient will be complaining of the pain. So that means the patient is a case of fibromyalgia. And as such, till today, there is no any specific investigations which tells us that you do this test, it comes positive and the disease is fibromyalgia. No, the absence of irregularity in the investigation itself is a hallmark to diagnose as fibromyalgia. And the diagnosis is plainly clinical. It is based on the history of widespread pain. If it is lasting for more than 3 months, along with the symptoms of fatigue and cognitive issues, along with psychiatric issues, then the diagnosis will be made as fibromyalgia. So now coming to the Mamsagata Vata was the diagnosis. So what does Ayurveda say when it comes to the symptoms? Kurvangam tudyati atyartham danda mushti hatam tatha sarukshamitam atyarthe mamsamedo gate anile. So there is heaviness of the body. Gurvangam tudyate atyartham danda mushti hatam tatha. So as I told you, there is pain all over the body, but there are no any degenerative changes. The patient was telling there is pinching type of pain, there was pain all over the body. So that is danda mushti hatam tata, we can understand it as saruk shamitam atyarte. So the fatigue, what I was telling, which is a very important symptom in fibromyalgia, you can understand it as saruk shamitam atyartam mamsamedogate anile. So pathogenesis of Ayurveda, the Samprapti which I have explained before. So there is imbalance in the Vata and Pitta dosha, and definitely there formation of ama, there is involvement of the Mamsa Dhatu and the Kapha dosha. So there is Kapha Kshaya is there, Prokop of Vata and Pitta, there is formation of ama, Stana Samshraya in the Mamsa Dhatu, leading to all the symptoms. Gurvangam, Tudyati Atyartham, all the symptoms leading to that is considered here. So the Chikitsa Sutra, either you can apply the Nirupastambha Vata Vyadhi Chikitsa and also the Mamsa Vata Vyadhi Chikitsa, both have been practically applied in this particular case. So I have taken some of the standard scales to assess. So there is no any rule that I come here and I tell you the case and you have to believe me, right? So that's why I have assessed this particular case in all the standardized scales. So you need not believe me, but you can believe the scales which I have assessed through. So first one is the visual analog scale to evaluate the fatigue severity. As I told you, fatigue is a very important symptom. The assessment of fatigue is also done by VAS-F. So this is the scale. You can take or Google it later. The second one is MDHAQ, which is Multi-Dimensional Health Assessment Questionnaire. So this is the questionnaire. And the third one, which is very specific to fibromyalgia, the Fibromyalgia Impact Questionnaire. This also has been assessed in the case. And by American College of Rheumatology, ACR, there is 3 different parts which we have assessed this case. One is the widespread pain index. The second one is severity, symptom severity scale. So now let us see what was the status of the patient when she came. We have followed her from Feb to August, which is a quite long duration of time. So there, she used to come continuously for the follow-up, and there was also a very good improvement which was seen. So the fatigue VAS scale, the score was 98 in the Feb, and in the August it was reduced to 75. And the health questionnaire, it was more than 12, and in the August it was reduced to 4. And the fatigue assessment, so it was 35, which was reduced to 12 in the August. So American College of Rheumatology, 2 scores. One is wide pain index and the symptom severity scale. You can see wide pain index, it was 16, and later it was completely 0. And symptom severity scale, it was 15 when she came, and it was 2 in the August. So these are all the dates which we had follow up the patient. So this is a graph of the symptoms. You can see this is VAS, this is MDHAQ, FIQ, WPI, and SS scale, symptom severity, widespread index. So, and as the mind was also very much involved, the Hamilton Anxiety Scale, we have used the Hamilton Anxiety Scale to assess the symptoms which you used to feel, like anxious mood or insomnia, depressed mood. So gastrointestinal symptoms, all of this was also assessed. So this was in Feb. So Ham A square, the Ham A score, it was 48 in the Feb, and in August it was reduced to 4, which is a drastic improvement. So this also you can see. So these are all the symptoms, from anxious mood to behavior at the interview or behavior at the when the case was taken. So you can see it is almost reduced to 8 here in the August. So now coming to the treatment details. So here I would like to give a disclaimer, because till here you can completely understand the case and apply the case, but from now on the medicines can vary. So आप जहाँ रिसाइड करते हो, आपका देश कहाँ है जहाँ पे आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हो, उसके हिसाब से आपका मेडिसिन भी चेंज होगा. So please don't think that this medicines has to be same given to fibromyalgia. The Samprapti which the patient walks in for you can be completely different, but based on the anupadesha, based on the dosha prakopa, based doshas involved, and based on the samprapti ghataka, this was the medicine which was chosen. So the first important medicine is Brihatvata Chintamani Rasa, the Kshirabala capsule, and Manasa Mitra Vatakam. So this were the, and along with this there are also the Panchakarma Chikitsas which I have given. So we'll start with the Shamana Aushadhis first. So Brihatvata Chintamani Rasa, as you all know, it is a very important medicine for Vata Pitta doshas, and definitely when the mind is involved. So when you want to make a very good friendship with the immunity, because ANA was also quite positive before she had come, and it was negative, but there was an incidence where it was positive. So you should also take care of the immunity, you should take care of the mood, you should take care of the sleep, and also you should take care of the Prakopita Vata and Pitta dosha. In that cases, even with the small dose, Brihatvata Chintamani Rasa is the drug of choice. And Kshirabala, because in all the Ashiti Vikaras, in the 80 Vata Vikaras, Kshirabala is a very important drug for Vata Prashamana. And Manasa Mitra Vatakam, it is an Anubhuta Yoga from Sahasra Yoga in Kerala Ayurveda. So you can see the reference in Sahasra Yoga. It was given to calm down. Even Manasa Mitra Vatakam is very important. It becomes a drug of choice in Vata Pitta Prakopita Avastha. So this was given 2 tablets with milk. So, and Ashwagandha Churna was added in the later times with a half glass of milk. So you can see I'm targeting Vata Pitta Avasthas in this particular phase, and then the Vata again more of, so here it was more of Vata Pitta, here it was Vata Pradhana Pitta, and here I'm coming to the Kapha Avastha. So then Maharasnadi Kashayam was given again here also, targeting the Vata Pitta and mainly the Vata dosha. Gandha Thailam, which is given to nourish all the tendons, ligaments, muscles. So here mainly the pain was addressed. Here coming to the nourishing aspect, how to do the Brahmana effect. So for that Gandha Thaila was chosen here, again 6 drops with the milk. And after the nourishment or taking care of Vata and Pitta, so when the Kapha dosha little became predominant in the treatment, so Amavata Rasa, Ashwagandha Churna was taken care of, Maharasnadi Kashaya was added. So in the Bahya Chikitsa, Sarvanga Abhyanga followed by Sarvanga Bhashasveda, and Shiro Pichu was given. Abhyanga by Kshirabala Thaila and Shiro Pichu with Himasagara Thaila and Amalaki Churna. And from March, Shiro Abhyanga was advised with Himasagara Thaila, and Kshira Dara was told with Kshira Musta and Amalaki. And Sarvanga Abhyanga followed by Sarvanga Bhashasveda by Kshirabala Thaila, and Shiro Pichu was continued with Kshirabala Thaila and Amalaki Churna. And in June, so the treatment was little bit changed with Shiro Abhyanga, Sarvanga Abhyanga, and Sarvanga JPS. So here, because the patient had improved, the quality of sleep was improved, her mood started to improve, and the pain almost 50 to 60% it was removed. So Bhashasveda, instead of that, Sarvanga JPS is Jambira Pindasveda. So this is a very unique formulation what we do. So Jambira Nimbu will be taken, and along with that the other ingredient, the Pottalis will be done, and Sweda will be given. And Sarvanga in the later phase, as I told, I was addressing the Kapha dosha, which was a little bit Prakopita by the treatment. So Sarvanga Udvartana by Kola Kulatadi Kriphala Churna, Sarvanga Abhyanga and Bhashasveda. So these were the treatment modalities. And along with that, the Patya, this was advised to her. So I had advised her to the breathing practices, because you have to establish a normal routine, or you have to be very calm. So in that, breathing practices help a lot. So pranayama and Kapalabhati was advised to her, and I had advised her to do regular exercise. So she was in a lot of pain, but still I had told her to walk not more than 30 minutes. If she had asked it started to walk by 10 minutes, increase the time by 5 minutes. So she used to walk for around 20-25 minutes 5 days a week, and 2 days I had asked her to rest. So in a week 5 days she used to walk for 25 to 30 minutes every day. And I had asked her to take 2 fruits in a day, preferably amalaki or apple or pomegranate. In these 3 fruits, I had asked her to take any one fruit and 1 portion of dry fruits. It can be badam or your dry grapes, such things. And I had asked her to have meals on time and not doing any vega dharana. So these were the alterations in the lifestyle which was suggested to the patient. So these are all the yogas, why I had chosen the yoga, what is the relevance of it. So Kshira Balataila, Vata Ashiti Vinashanam. So this is Madhura Rasa and Madhura Vipaka. So mainly in Vata Pitta Dosha. So Dhatulam Prabalam, Shadindriya Prasadaka, Tarpayati and Jivayati. So this is the Phalashruti. And the main ingredients is Balamula, Tilataila and Gokshora. So Kshira Balataila, why Kshira Balataila I have chosen? Because see here in the Vatajana Anatmaja Vikaras, it can be Vepatu or it can be Shama, Glani, Vishada, Aswapna, which most of my patient had. Kshira Balataila was a very unique and a drug of choice for me because most of the Vatajana Anatmaja Vikaras, as I told you, she was having. So Dhanvantari Taila again. So as there was a history of miscarriage, so Yoni Roga Kshayapaham. So this is one of the Phalashruti of Dhanvantara Taila. So this was also used because of that. And Maharasnadi Kashaya Vandya Anyamaya Yogeshu. Then Gridrasyama Vatecha, so Apatana, Kyantra Pradhatadadmane. So all of this Vataja Vyadi Avastha and also the Yoni Ama issue. That's why Maharasnadi was given. And Ashwagandha Churna, as you know, it is an adaptogen. It is having anti-stress properties. It is also an immunomodulator, and it is also having anxiolytic effect. That's why it was chosen. And Himasagara Taila, it is given Sarva Vata Vikaranut. And Shiromadhyagatam cha Shakam Ashritam che Stitaha. So both in the Shiroroga, Roga, and also in the Shakas, whenever the Vata Vyadi is there, it is very much effective. This is what the Phalashruti says, right? So that's why it was chosen. And Mahanarayana Taila, here only in the Phalashruti direct reference is there, Snayavasti Bhanga and Subrumhanartam. So whenever Brumhana is needed and you want to target the Snayu, Asti, Mamsa and Vata Dosha, Mahanarayana Taila becomes the drug of choice. So Brihat Vata Chintamani Rasa, so you already know the ingredients. There is Varna, Rajata, Bhraka Basma, and it is Vata Pitta Nashaka, and along with the analgesic property, it is also having antidepressant, anti-anxiolytic effect. That's when Mansa Mitra Vataka, again I had told you, it is mostly in the Vata Pitta deranged Manasika Avasthas we will give you. And Gandha Taila, again to give the Sthairya for Mamsa Dhatu. And Kshiradhara again for the improved circulation and the deranged axis which I told you, hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, to re-establish that one. And Jambira Pinda Sveda, you can see the picture. So there is Lashuna here, Jambira and Saindava Lavana. So all of these are the ingredients. And also the Tila Taila will be used. So and the Potale will be made, and this is how the Sveda will be given. And Shiro Pitsu, again to establish the axis, hypothalamo-pituitary adrenal axis, and also to calm down the patient, and also to work on the insomnia. These were the treatments which was given. So here, as you can see, the both mind and body were targeted. Just because the patient comes to you with a pain, you cannot just give them a Vatanashaka Aushadhi and then send them and expect the pain to come down. No. Always make sure to analyze what is the role of the manas in the Vyadhi. Only then by targeting both the manas and Sharira, especially in a disease like fibromyalgia, which is quite complex in itself, you can completely treat and heal the patient. So choose Ayurveda for the complete well-being of the patient. So I would like to just inspire you. My only intention in presenting this case was to inspire and to stress on the importance of taking history, making our own samprapti, and writing the medicines based on the Phalashrutis. Because we never study the Phalashrutis, and then we randomly write the medicine just because our senior had written or our consultant had written. Right? But we never go back to Bhaishya Ratnavali, we never go back to Chakradatta, read what is there in Dhanvantari Taila, what is the Phalashruti. So the main 3 points was make your own samprapti, read the Phalashruti, and write your own medicines based on the Desha and based on samprapti. Okay. So Thank you so much for your patient listening. If there are any doubts, I'll be happy to take.
बहुत ही बढ़िया प्रेजेंटेशन और दोनों ही चिकित्सा की दृष्टि से और क्लासिकल रेफरेंस को वहाँ फलश्रुति से लेना ये बहुत अच्छी मेथड है। बहुत अच्छे अच्छे गुरुओं से आपने ज्ञान प्राप्त किया है कि पुरुषम पुरुषम विक्ष वाला जो मोस्ट साइंटिफिक अप्रोच आपने सबसे पहले क्लेरिफाई किया। क्योंकि मैं 20 साल से टीचर हूँ, 26 साल से डॉक्टर हूँ, मगर मैंने भी बहुत बार, जैसे मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को कहती हूँ, अच्छा बच्चे कोई नहीं, चल फोन कर लेना, तो बच्चे फिर से कि अच्छा मैडम आपने लिखा था वही मैंने लिखा, तो मेरा मरीज कैसे नहीं ठीक हुई, ऐसे है ना। तो ये बात बिल्कुल सही है कि हमें जितना आता है उतना भी पर्सनलाइज्ड उसमें उस पेशेंट्स को हम देखने की कोशिश करेंगे, तो सच में बहुत ही बढ़िया उसमें रिजल्ट रहेगा। डॉक्टर मनदीप कौर ने भी बहुत अच्छी तरीके से उसको सराहा है। डॉक्टर उषा होला ने पूछा है, हाउ कैन पीचू बी यूज्ड यूजिंग आमलकी चूर्ण?
Okay. I would like to take this question. So the question is, how can Pichu be done with Amalaki Churna? Yeah. So here, Shiru Pichu, what we practice, right, in the southern parts of India, we take Amalaki Churna, and along with that, one of the Tailas will be used. So here I had given Himasagara Taila. Okay. So and the reasoning I have given you both. So Amalaki also, it is having the role in Pitta Prashamana, Vata Prashamana, and also Himasagara Taila. So both will be mixed. So when you mix, it will become a paste like consistency, right? So then we'll take a piece of banana leaf, and above that the lepa will be done, and with the help of your cotton gauze, it will be tied around the head. So that's how Shiro Pichu will be done with the Churna yoga. That means both Churna and Taila will be used. Yes. Okay, the question is, can fibromyalgia occur in one part of the muscle of calf muscle? So the answer is no. Why? Because fibromyalgia, the main important feature, fibromyalgia का यही बहुत ही important symptom होता है कि widespread pain. Widespread pain क्या होता है? जैसे कि मेरा हाथ में भी दर्द है, पैरों में भी दर्द है, सर में भी दर्द है, मेरा नेक में भी दर्द है, right? So here आप जहाँ भी आपको पेशेंट को पूछोगे ना, आपको क्या आप कमर में दर्द है, पेशेंट बोलेंगे हाँ मुझे कमर में दर्द है। क्या आपको चलने में दिक्कत होती है, तो पेशेंट बोलेंगे हाँ मुझे चलने में दिक्कत होती है। क्या आपके एंकल में दर्द है, पेशेंट बोलेंगे हाँ मुझे एंकल में दर्द है। तो देयर विल बी वाइड स्प्रेड पेन, जहां पे आप पूछोगे पेशेंट को वहां पे दर्द रहेगा, एटलीस्ट इन द इनिशियल केसेस, राइट? सो if there is pain only in the one part of the body, जहाँ पे आपने बोला calf pain, which can be taken as Pindikodveshana. So Pindikodveshana, no, it cannot be a symptom of fibromyalgia. It is another disease, or it can be another lakshan of Vata Prakopa, or it can be a simple lakshan of Purusha Vega Dharana. So no, the answer is no. If you have to diagnose the patient as fibromyalgia, there has to be widespread pain.
डॉक्टर अंजू गोयल और डॉक्टर चंद्रकला जी लेक्चर की सराह करने के लिए, और डॉक्टर मनदीप जी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और नेक्स्ट एक क्वेश्चन है डॉक्टर अंकु जी, डॉक्टर अंकु कंदरा। मैम, वात पित्त के साथ अगर कफ का भी इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो पेशेंट को, जैसे प्रतिशय हो साथ में, तो ट्रीटमेंट में और क्या चेंज कर सकते हैं?
मैम, वात पित्त के साथ कफ का भी इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो और,
हाँ जी बेटा, वो चैट बॉक्स में लिखा हुआ है, थोड़ा सा
वन सेकेंड मैम।
हिंदी भाषा में मगर स्क्रिप्ट इंग्लिश यूज की है उन्होंने ना, प्रयोग में लिए।
जी मैम। वात पित्त के साथ अगर, ओके, सो योर क्वेश्चन इज, जैसे कि वात पित्त के साथ अगर कफ का भी इन्वॉल्वमेंट हो तो ट्रीटमेंट में क्या और चेंज कर सकते हैं? ओके, सो नाउ दिस इज अ वेरी थियोरेटिकल कंसेप्ट. सो डॉक्टर अंकु कंडरा, so yeah, we get patients with the dosha pradhanyata, but there will always be a dosha which is troubling them the most. For example, you are telling Pratishyaya here. So whether it is Nava Pratishyaya, whether it is Purana Pratishyaya or Dushta Pratishyaya. For example, whether it is an allergic rhinitis, or the patient has got running nose since yesterday due to viral infection, or it is due to a chronic sinusitis. So all of this will be taken care. Okay, so in this case, if you have to tell that, okay, Vata Pitta Pradhanata fibromyalgia is there, and along with that the patient is having Pratishyaya, I would tell that just give them simple Haridra Duma. That will help them in Pratishyaya and continue with the other treatment. But you cannot do the treatments like Shiradhara, Abhyanga, because again your Agni will be involved, right? So if the patient has developed Pratishyaya along with fibromyalgia, take your time to treat Pratishyaya, give them the Shamana Aushadhis, but you cannot pose the patient for Panchakarma. Okay, so this is how I would treat the patient. But if apart from Pratishyaya, if there are any other kaphaja vyadis also, then kapha prakopa also, then make sure you should take the call which dosha are you treating first, or which dosha needs to be treated first, which is troubling the patient more.
पूछना चाह रही है, can't this be treated on the lines of the pitta anubandha vata rakta?
Okay. So, Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta. So, in Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta, till now what I have seen, so Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta, there will be severe inflammatory process. Right? So here I'm telling you there is Vata Anubandha Pitta. But when it is Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta, you can imagine Vata Rakta is again a Ashukari Vyadhi. And Pitta means there is always inflammation process. So Sparsha Asahyata is one of the important features of Pitta dosha. So in that case, Vata Anubandha Vata Rakta will be extremely tender and there will be so much of inflammation. So, whereas in fibromyalgia, that much inflammation to that level of Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta will not be there. And obviously, to diagnose as Vata Rakta, which is also known as Khuddha Vata, there should be involvement of your small joints, and the Vyadhi should start from the foot. Right? There are so many references, right, in the Vata Rakta. So that Samprapti, if you get, if that Samprapti which you make, if you get that, then you can go ahead. But Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta, it again goes on what Samprapti you are making, what symptoms the patient has come. I would not agree with Pitta Anubandha Vata Rakta because it is again a very serious condition and Sparsha Asahyata, all of these conditions will be there. And when Vata Rakta just comes in the picture, there will be manifestations of both the skin and the joints. Okay, Uttana and Gambhira Vata Rakta will be there. So, but here in fibromyalgia, it is completely different. So, there is fatigue, there is widespread pain, and there is sleep disturbances and the symptoms which is related to the mind. So, both are completely different presentations.
As there is involvement of the multiple joints along with fatigue?
Okay, excellent question. This is a very good question because in the treatment or whenever we teach our students, this is a very important question which you should keep in mind. So you have given me the two conditions. One is RA and fibromyalgia. So let me clear you small basics of RA. So what happens in rheumatoid arthritis? It is an autoimmune condition. So antibodies are prepared inside the body to fight against your own body. And rheumatoid arthritis will have articular symptoms and extra articular symptoms which are related to the joints and also all over the body. Yes, morning stiffness, for example, it will be present in both fibromyalgia and RA. But let me mind you, in the EULAR criteria, European League of Rheumatism, in that there is a EULAR criteria to diagnose rheumatoid arthritis. There, the morning stiffness in RA will be more than 30 minutes, almost equal to 1 hour. So even in fibromyalgia, morning stiffness will be there. It will be not so severe. And coming to the investigations. So whenever there is RA, you can see variations in the investigations like CBC, ESR, CRP, RA factor. Whereas in fibromyalgia, the very important diagnostic feature is all of these investigations will be normal. There will be no changes in ESR, no changes in CRP, no changes in RA. For example, let us take CRP. So where CRP will be positive? When there is muscular degeneration or changes in the muscle or the muscle starts breaking down, which is seen in RA. Whereas in fibromyalgia, there is only inflammation. There is no any changes in the muscle structure. And also in RA, you will see so many deformities, like Z-shaped fingers, swan neck deformity. Whereas in fibromyalgia, even in the musculoskeletal examination, you could see there will be no any deformities. Just there will be pain in the range of motion. Hope I'm clear.
Only involved in fibromyalgia?
Okay. So the concept of Ayurveda says that without the involvement of three doshas, no vyadi can happen. Agree, right? So this is the very important thing what we should get to know. So if you have to decide the doshas in any vyadi, for example, you take COVID-19, or it can be fibromyalgia, or it can be RA, right? So to decide what dosha pradhanyata is there, always take the help of two important factors. One is the Nidana Sevana by the patient. Second one is the Samprapti. So now, if you see the Nidana Sevana of my patient and also the Samprapti which I have prepared, there is Pradhanyata of Vata Pradhana Pitta Kapha doshas. So here Kapha is in the Kshina Avastha, the Prakupita Avastha is Vata and Pitta doshas. So similarly, in most of the cases, this can be the presentation. If not, for example, a patient XYZ comes to me and there is more of kapha janidanas and there is less of pitta janidanas. In such cases, the chikitsa will be different. The symptoms will be the same. The prakriti of the patient can be different, right? So similarly, in many of the cases, majority vata pitta will be involved. Again, based on the nidana sevana and samprapti ghataka, before treating the patient, you have to take the call. So this is a very practical approach.
सभी ने बहुत अच्छे क्लैरिफिकेशन के साथ आपके आंसर के लिए भी धन्यवाद किया है और आपकी सराहना की है। और मैं समझती हूँ कि सच में ये सेशन इतना बढ़िया था और सभी को बहुत ज़्यादा उन्होंने उन आंसर के माध्यम से उनको काफ़ी फ़ायदा रहेगा। और अभी भी वो काफ़ी अच्छे क्वेश्चन है, तो नो डाउट अच्छे उसमें आंसर बहुत ज़्यादा संतुष्टि देते हैं। एक बात जो मैं थोड़ा इंटरनेट की गड़बड़ी रही उसमें बताना भूल गई, डॉक्टर हर्षिता को मैंने अभी 2-4 दिन पहले ही कहा कि देयर इज ए वन इमरजेंसी और आप इमरजेंसी स्पीकर बनेंगे, तो डॉक्टर हर्षिता ने तुरंत ही अपनी अनुमति दी। तो आज के इमरजेंसी लेक्चर के लिए भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, क्योंकि बहुत बार ऐसा होता है कि जो हमारे स्पीकर से, जैसे आप सभी जानते हो कि 2015 से ये व्याख्यानमाला चल रही है और सभी स्पीकर के समर्पित भाव से ज्ञान का इस ज्ञान यज्ञ में आहुति देने से बन रही है ना। तो हम टीचर्स को कुछ नहीं देते हैं सिवाय के बहुत बहुत तहे दिल से धन्यवाद। और अभी ई सर्टिफिकेट देते हैं, पहले यहाँ था तो हार्ड कॉपी रहती थी। तो मुझे लगता है कि एक इमरजेंसी स्पीकर के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत फिर से तहे दिल से धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'm extremely sorry because I couldn't communicate very well in Hindi. I know Hindi, but I would not be very confident enough to explain in Hindi. That's why I'm extremely sorry for that. And I would really like to thank Hetal Dave ma'am so much, because I've seen her work hard in NIA. Ma'am used to treat a lot of patients in OPD, IPD, then OT. She used to take care of the student just like her own kids. And also she's doing this VAP CMA seminar for the well-being of us, for the young Vaidyas, for the uplifting of Ayurveda. And I should thank you, ma'am. It is my duty to do the sessions whenever you call me to do the sessions, and I'll be happy to work with you. And I'd like to thank all of you for joining for this wonderful case session, and I'll be forever grateful for Hetal Dave ma'am for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you, ma'am.
आप जैसे स्पीकर नहीं मिलते तो हमारा ये इतना लंबा 9 साल से लगातार नहीं चल पाता। और सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को मैं एक और इमरजेंसी स्पीकर हमारे डॉक्टर भुवनेश जी शर्मा यहाँ जुड़े हुए हैं। हमने 5 साल यहाँ भुवनेश जी के साथ एनआई में काम किया। वर्तमान समय में वो सीसीआरएस में जयपुर में ही कार्यरत है। तो आज का अगर हर्षिता जी से हमारा मेल नहीं होता तो आज का लेक्चर भुवनेश जी लेते, क्योंकि भुवनेश जी हमारा परमानेंट स्पीकर है कि कुछ भी इमरजेंसी हुई तो मैंने कहा भुवनेश जी लेक्चर लेना है। और बड़े ऐसे पूछेंगे भुवनेश जी, मैडम क्या पढ़ाऊं? मैंने कहा बेटा प्रकृति पढ़ाओ, ये पढ़ाओ, आपके पास इतनी सारी चीजें हैं मौलिक सिद्धांत में, कुछ भी एक चैप्टर पढ़ा दो और कोई एक पोर्शन करा दीजिए तो बहुत अच्छा रहेगा। और ऐसे बहुत बार पहले भुवनेश जी ने व्याख्यान माला को सपोर्ट किया है और संभाला है। और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आप जैसे स्पीकर का साथ हमेशा मिलता रहे। डॉक्टर हर्षिता जैसे नए स्टूडेंट्स इतना तैयार होके इस उम्र में इतना बढ़िया प्रेजेंटेशन है, तो मुझे लगता है कि आयुर्वेद का भविष्य बहुत उज्जवल होगा। जैसे हर्षिता जी ने कहा कि हम ये व्याख्यान माला इसीलिए चला रहे हैं कि बहुत सारे श्रेष्ठ आयुर्वेदिक चिकित्सक तैयार हो, आयुर्वेद एक दिन भारत की राष्ट्रीय चिकित्सा पद्धति बने और तब हम सारी सेवाएं देने के लिए सज्ज हो। हाँ, हमें कोई काम मिलेगा हम बिल्कुल करके दिखाएंगे। तो इसी उद्देश्य से हम ये चला रहे हैं। और कहीं ना कहीं हमारा स्कॉलर यूजी पीजी नॉट अ जॉब सीकर बट जॉब प्रोवाइडर है ना। आपके कारण मैं अपने स्टूडेंट को जो कहती हूँ कि 3 लोगों का घर का चूल्हा जलना चाहिए, वो आपके पास इंक्रीमेंट मांगे और आप खुशी खुशी उनको हर साल बढ़ा हुआ इंक्रीमेंट दे। ऐसी मेरी इच्छा है कि भाई जॉब देनी है हमें और आयुर्वेद ये कर सकता है और हम बहुत अच्छी तरीके से समाज की सेवा भी कर सकते हैं। तो विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद के इस प्लेटफॉर्म पर मैं फिर से आज के स्पीकर का धन्यवाद करती हूँ। और बिल्कुल डॉक्टर हर्षिता जी आपने अच्छा वो कहा है कि भाई एक लेक्चर तो और तैयार रखिएगा ही, क्योंकि लगभग 2 से 3 महीने में एक इमरजेंसी होती है।
जी मैम।
क्योंकि 9 साल में एक ही साल में ऐसा हुआ था कि एक साथ में 3 इमरजेंसी लगातार फ्राइडे टू फ्राइडे टू फ्राइडे हुई है। बाकी लगभग 3 महीने में 2 महीने में एक होती है इमरजेंसी, है ना। और तब मैं बिल्कुल आपको एक बार वो करूंगी। और मुझे लगता है कि आप तो बिना पीपीटी भी पढ़ा देंगे ना तो भी बहुत अच्छा पढ़ाएंगे। और आपकी इंग्लिश की जो प्रेजेंटेशन थी वो बड़ी हिंदी जैसी लग रही थी। मैं समझती हूँ कि बहुत सारे बच्चे वो आसानी से समझे होंगे। और अभी मैं उसका लेक्चर अपलोड भी करूंगी और आप फिर से भी सुन के इसमें अपने आप को लाभान्वित कर सकते हैं, क्लैरिफाई कर सकते हैं। क्योंकि एज ए टीचर मैंने ये देखा कि जब मैं बच्चों को पढ़ाती हूँ तो वो और क्लैरिफाई हो जाता है, हमारे भी मंडल पटल खुल जाते हैं कि अच्छा इसका मतलब तो ये भी है ना। तो इसलिए मुझे ये पता है, ऐसा करने के बजाय अगर एक बार हम सुनते हैं फिर से सुनते हैं फिर से पढ़ते हैं तो बहुत ही अच्छा रहता है। तो डॉक्टर हर्षिता बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद विश्व आयुर्वेद परिषद के इस प्लेटफॉर्म से, तहे दिल से धन्यवाद। सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स का भी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। और सबसे अंत में मैं शांति मंत्र लूंगी, आप सभी म्यूट रखकर ही दोहराएंगे। ओम सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ओम शांति शांति शांति। नमो नमः। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। विश्व मंगल की कामना के साथ अगले फ्राइडे को हम नए स्पीकर के साथ, नई उमंग के साथ आयुर्वेद को एक अच्छे मुकाम पे पहुंचाने के लिए फिर से उपस्थित होंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू सो मच मैम।